I've seen a judge.
Oh, there's that dude. Yo, hip hop heist, man. We back with another live reaction. We're gonna get into Bricc Baby, talk about what's going on with him. We're gonna keep it moving, man. Like and subscribe.
Is not going out easy like this. Now, after Bricc said Gucci Mane got some good pussy,
Gucci Mane dropping all those artists.
Gucci Mane got some good pussy.
Huh?
Yeah, Gucci Mane got some good pussy.
which is completely strange. Like, why would you know this? Why would you even choose to play with Gucci like this, knowing it's not really how he gets down? Adam22 put out this message to Bricc Baby, telling him he's possibly fired.
This message is for Gucci Mane, one of my all-time favorite rappers. I just wanted to sincerely apologize to you for Bricc Baby's remarks, the bussy thing and whatnot. I feel like this is partially my fault because by bringing him onto the podcast, I feel like I kind of opened the door for this sort of white boy humor to be leaving his mouth. And I just don't want to be part of the problem. So as a result, I will be forcing Bricc Baby to take a leave of absence. I'm going to be sending him to a rehab facility in which they'll be doing some sort of electroshock, anti-gay therapy on him. I just don't want to risk another episode that offends Big Goo-Wop. So, yeah, that's going to be happening. You probably won't see Bricc Baby on the channel for a while. But from Two-Wop to Goo-Wop, just know I'm on it. I got this handled. 1017 forever.
Now, some people are claiming that Adam22 was pressed by Gucci, and this is why he's apologizing. First off, Bricc Baby is a grown-ass man. You cannot be apologizing on behalf of him. If he wants to go on a crash course basically going at Gucci Mane, which is very, very odd, you gotta let him deal with the consequences. But looks like Bricc Baby is not backing down. Bricc Baby goes on to double down, which is kind of crazy. Here's what he said.
Y'all get in here, man. Y'all get in here right now. She's sickest live in the world, man. I got a special gift for you, man. You understand me? Huh?
Oh,
Hey, man. You understand me? I got extra. Got a little gift for Lil Dun.
nah.
Yeah, I get in here right now, man. There's no jump. I'm 5 from no jumper. Fuck no jumper. Fuck you, Adam. And 5 from, I ain't never had a job before. I be there on Tuesday, fire me to my face on the hood. And fuck Gucci, you got me fired. You already finna come clap them cheeks.
Now, I get it. Bricc Baby is super tied into the streets. But why is Gucci the person he wants to play with? Especially knowing Gucci's history. If you guys fell out years ago, just let it be. Why are you going out your way to disrespect that man? And why do you have baby oil during your interview? This might be a play that Adam22 and Bricc Baby are running together. You get on the platform and diss Gucci, I get on the platform and play the good cop. That way we can have more content when artists and rappers start coming at us. I think at this point, Bricc Baby probably knows Adam22 is probably never going to fire him. Outside of Whack 100, Bricc Baby is the second most important employee at No Jumper. And we all know Adam22 loves controversy. So there's absolutely no way Adam22 is letting Bricc Baby go from this incident. You guys get in the comments below. What do you guys think about Bricc Baby's response to Adam22 quote unquote firing him and also still doubling down on dissing Gucci Mane? Post your comments below. Subscribe to my channel, like this video. I'll see you guys later, man.
So I bought a $500 bottle of Creative Rentis because it's the world's most popular fragrance, potentially of all time. I mean, it's won by royalty. It's a masculine concoction of citrus.
Look, I don't even know how to feel with puka butts. It's like, let me give y'all something that I told y'all last week, and I begged Puka Butts to do. I told him he needed to come out the closet. I told him that, sweetheart, that is not no good for you. You not that. I told you that you is a sweetie pie, sugar plum. You is a marshmallow, cotton ball. But I didn't even know you was the type of fruitcake. But I see that I wasn't wrong. Everything that you was saying, and you was telling the world, and you was fighting, you was scratching, you was crawling. Letting everybody know. I have no problems with that. And I applaud you for coming out. You came out. Sweetie! Sweetie! Don't it feel good that you got that monkey off your back? That weight off your shoulders. Sweetie, you are out. All the straight women, you leave more to us. You more like a female. So, you rubbing baby oil on you? Popping perks on camera? What would you say to your people that's watching you crash out? And listen, folks, don't let him fool you. He crashing out trying to cross over because he's a confident informant. He just trying to switch sides right now and crash out. But really the reason why he's crashing out is because he's the police. He's working with the police. He's getting paid. Who have insights on saying that the police funding is depleted. But him and Big Useless. I told you they won and number 2 in the Buster Avengers. I'm trying to let y'all know. He's not like that. Care Bear. Big Sugar Plum. Big Useless Uterus. He got everybody wilding. See, they went from every day just talking and acting like he tough and to letting his clown expose himself. He ain't picking up the phone and saying, listen, Puka Butts, you need to really calm down because you making me look bad. I put you on Loose Cannon and Whack, no Diddy, and I gave you a platform to fight my battles. He wanted people to fight his battles, but look how it's playing out for you. You had all those Buster Avengers coming at me. All of them washed. Sugar Plum, you did a bad job. You only as good as your leader. And you're not a very good leader. You're the police. 5-0. You 12. You the Johnnies. Newsflash. Nobody believes you tough. You're not like that, sweetheart. This is more proof that what I've been saying, he's no good.
No one.
Man, even loose cannon. Call him Puka Butts.
But I'm proud of you, Sugar Cookie. I am proud of you, sweetie. Coming out. Because what gangster gonna say, I want to play with somebody's butt. You been to jail, but you was on the 1 and 2 yards. You was in the dorms. You wasn't like that. You wasn't on the level 3 and 4s. See? You have to understand this, right? You get caught on the phone all the time, confessing, pouring out your heart. And the community is waiting to accept you. You already wear extensions. You already switch and twerk. What's wrong with you working for the police now? I know you don't have nobody food. We know this is your last raha, and you just trying to get what you can get out of this industry. You caught. Even your people said that you is co-conspiracy number 4. Lush agreed. Y'all go check that out. You fake. You acting like somebody believed your stories. Well, they probably did in the beginning until I exposed you. What you talking about? Gucci got good pussy. That's weird. So you have to really think about the things that you say. It just don't make sense. It's craving. Putting on baby oil, taking off your shirt in front of a man, talking about homosexuality stuff. Then you try to get Adam involved and said that me and Adam do gay stuff all the time. Now, there's nothing wrong with you being a homosexual, but at least own it. Don't be having kids and putting them through certain things and you faking it and you the police. I'm letting you know right now. The fans is going to support you. You already gave up your crip and you just said that, right? I applaud you for that. You was no good at it. At all. Sugar Plum, you was no good at it. But in these clips, you're going to see, like, geez, I did all this faking, all this tough stuff, and I end up like this. Come out the closet, and I'm a rat. But hey, people, don't take it from me. I'm showing you more clips. This is something totally different. I try and I try and I try. But here we go, people. Enjoy. Sweetie! Sweetie!
Banned from somewhere. Come on, gang. Come on, gang. I'm just saying. What the fuck you on?
What
gang?
you mean I'm banned from my city?
They said you was banned. I didn't say it. Gang. Come on, gang. What you doing? You ain't banned. Put the shirt back on. You ain't banned. You ain't banned. Put the shirt back on.
Take it back.
Put the shirt back on, gang. You're not banned. What the fuck you doing? Come on, gang. Come on, gang. No.
I do before I fight.
No, gang.
This is what I
You
do.
tweaking. Gang, you tweaking. I swear on my mom, you tweaking. What you want? The fuck? Stop playing on me. Stop playing on me. Nah. This ain't no jumper. Come on, gang. Come on, listen. I feel I feel humiliated, right? No, not with them fingers. Stop playing on me. Come on,
Nigga.
No,
You
come
said
on.
what? I'm banned from where?
No, you ain't banned from nowhere. You should be banned from no jumper. What the?
Damn, what the fuck?
Big.
That's crazy.
He said I'm banned from where?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Fuck you talking about?
Hold on.
Who got left on bad bougie, huh?
Yeah, they got some bad 30s.
What they?
Yeah, them bad 30s. That's what I got, mama.
What they? Who got
Yeah,
left on
yeah, them
bad
30s
bougie?
bad. Hey, come on, guy. I don't mean them 30s bad. Them 30s, damn, that feel, damn.
Yo, hey!
Damn, I saw you like this.
Hey!
Funny.
Well,
What's in it?
I came with some extra body.
No, say what's in that kind. Why I feel funny? Why it make you
This got a
tingle?
little ecstasy in it.
But why it make you tingle?
Where my baby?
Come on, gang. Come on.
Gang, my
Come on,
baby.
come on. What you want, gang? Come on, gang.
My baby hurt, gang.
It's right here, right here. Listen, this shit make you bring a baby or come on, gang. Don't OD on it, gang. You can't mix that with that.
He said,
But look,
Damn, man.
come on, gang. You ain't got to touch
so
me.
much of this
You ain't
shit
gotta
on
touch
me.
me. You ain't got to touch me.
Come
though.
on,
Come
bro.
on, man. You ain't got to touch me. I'm
God
You ain't got to touch me though. You ain't got to touch me. You ain't got to touch me though. You ain't got to touch me. Like y'all, you tweaking. This ain't no jumper. You ain't got to touch me. I never did it.
See?
But that's why I left.
That's what I said.
That's why
I
I
ain't
left.
never did it. I just put some motherfucking baby oil on.
Yeah,
nigga.
yeah, but-
and I said,
listen.
he got good. How you know my gay partner ain't told me about that?
Hold on. You got a gay partner?
Yeah.
Why would you have a gay partner? Come on, Adam. Everybody know that. Okay, come on, Adam. Okay.
Adam.
Yeah, Adam.
You see, he got Gucci music at the front of his shit. I'm balling like an athlete, but got no jumper. He say he balling like an athlete, but got no jumper. I'm right here on this line, cuz.
Man. Oh my God.
Nigga, I just came to a Diddy party. They talk about motherfucking, motherfucking Gucci man pussy. You know what I'm saying? I've been pouring baby oil on man.
No. I don't want to play.
They got a full snitch program out there. They say the snitch is making like 100.
In LA? Yeah.
Pussy is just boy pussy.
A boy ain't got that. Stop playing with me. Stop playing. You said Gucci Man got one of those?
I'm saying
He's a transgender? Stop
he
playing.
not. It ain't.
Stop playing.
I'm saying you got a sacred spot that ain't supposed to be played with on
Stop
your
playing.
body, and that's the boy pussy.
Stop playing with me.
Every time you wipe your ass, that's gay.
How? That don't even make sense. Like that's like.
I don't wipe my ass, gang.
Come on, gang. Come on, gang. Like you do anything for clout because like you saying some weird shit right now,
Man,
right?
if you put your hand in your ass, you gay.
No, a man can touch. If a man touches another man's ass, he gay.
So, but if you put your fingers in your own ass, you straight.
Okay, come on, stop playing with me. Stop. I don't even know. Listen, I don't know. Y'all drop that in the comments.
Man, look, I fuck with you. You know what I'm saying?
It's all
What I
good.
want to know is, why the fuck you keep letting Bricc Baby goddamn skeet that motherfucking baby all everywhere?
He gay, bro. He like that shit.
Stop playing with me.
Just left the Diddy party, nigga.
Bricc was in Texas. I'm like, Bricc, pull up. But I didn't know that this was gonna turn to like a gay episode, right? I didn't know it was gonna get, freaky. That's what I got my mama. So you tweaking. Gang, you tweaking. That's what I got my mama, you tweaking. What you want? The fuck? Stop playing on me. Stop playing on me. Nah. This ain't no jumper. Come on, gang.
He said,
Come on, listen. I feel
Take the clip out and put some baby oil on that motherfucker and sit on it, bitch ass nigga. Nigga, I'll fuck you with that block, bitch.
Why you gonna fuck? Come on, gang. Come on. I don't think you know how I go. I'm from St. Louis, gang. Bricc. I know no hard nigga gay. Like that ain't that kind of gay. It's like, gay. Right? I don't play the game. I don't play the game.
We not playing.
I don't play the game.
We not playing, bro.
I don't do that. Not here.
Why?
Not here. I'm
I'm
just saying though, cause it's like you going far with that. I mean, I was cool when you crashed out, right? You in like, I was good with that. I was good with that, and I was even good when I saw you with the dress. The kilt. I'm like, okay, he got a little dress. It's a little dress, right? It ain't that bad. But look, damn, come on, gang. You ain't got to touch me. You ain't got to touch me. You ain't got to touch me. Come on, bro. You ain't got to touch me. You ain't got to touch me, though. You ain't got to touch me. You ain't got to touch me, though. You ain't got to touch me.
Poker Butts, I'm back here in your office. Where you at? Where you at, Poker Butts?
Living with opioid addiction can be
living the life as a full-time gangbanger. When he wasn't at his Christian academy, he was knee-deep in very dangerous situations in the set. Specifically, his main expertise was robbing and extorting rappers who come to LA. That takes us to 2004, June 29th, 2004. It's the weekend of the annual BET Awards in LA, and the Rolling 60s have nothing but extortion on their minds. In particular, on this day, Zaire and his boys have somebody they want to target. Yep, that's right, Jeezy the Snowman. They desperately want that chain. Why him? Well, simply because he has the shiniest chain they've ever seen.
We've never seen nothing like this. You gotta think, LA, like the real Gotti diamond jury, diamond in each link, like this has never been done in LA yet. The rapper's jury is very feasible. It's like if you get you some rapper jury and go to the jeweler, you up a couple $100,000.
Unfortunately for them, they're unable to get a hand on Jeezy at the award show, so now they follow him to the club.
It was so many of us, we pushed the security out the way and rushed the club.
So now Zaire and his boys run in the club and absolutely take it over. In fact, Zaire jumps behind the bar, grabs 2 bottles, and then stands up and clashes them together. Simultaneously, his boys go over to the DJ booth and grab the mic.
Tell the whole club to roll the 60s in here, like, oh, like it's one of them nights.
After doing this, they wiggle over to the section that Jeezy's in, looking to snatch his chain.
We trying to ease our way to Jeezy. We see the snowman. We trying to go do our thing.
But as Jeezy's crew notice what's about to happen, they whip out their blicks.
They got like a chopper. This is my first time ever seeing like a mini carbine or something. Like they got a chopper out, like, and we look back. And I just go to shake Jeezy and ooh, we in. Like, what up, man?
Thankfully, the situation was stopped before it even started. But I say all that to show that at just 16 years old, this is what Zaire was about. And because of his willingness to do anything for the 60s, he was increasing his rank. This is how he earned the name in the set of Shitty or Shitro and the ability to put on new members. Well, in the late summer of 2004, he would bring his first young member to be put on the set. This would be a young friend of his by the name of Eric Holder. Eric was only 14 years old, but already thirsty and ready to put in work in the set. So of course, Zaire brings him to the set, puts him on, and he earns the nickname of Lil Shitty. Big Shitty and Lil Shitty, a duo that would forever make history in the set. So being a big homie at just 16 years old meant that Zaire had a rider by his side. At first, this meant protecting the trap, which happened to be Zaire's mom's house. This is where you could find a whole lot of money, jewelry, and illicit items inside. So because of Zaire, his mom's house became the hangout spot for the Overhill 60s.
My house was the spot. She had money and shit in the house and a lot of jewelry. So she let all the gangbangers kick it at the house because she had control of us. I had control of my homies, but we was like the security blanket.
Now remember, as he's committing felony robberies and hanging out on the block, he's still enrolled in private school and playing on the basketball team. So now it's the fall of 2004, and Zaire's team has a major season ahead. The team is absolutely stacked as they have a 6'10 D1 center, a 6'7 D1 wing, and the point guard is Devin Williams, who you may know as In the Lab. Well, long story short, they're so good that they have an undefeated season in their league, and they make it to the state championship game in Sacramento. Of course, they win the state championship, beating a Bay Area team like LA always does. So on paper, everything in Zaire's life is looking good. A good GPA, winning a state championship, and also getting noticed on the AAU circuit. In fact, he was playing so well that he skipped his senior year of high school to go play at a basketball prep school in Mississippi. Now you'd think that with this great opportunity, Zaire would go into it with a positive mentality. Now that I'm out of state, I'm going to leave the gang stuff behind me and simply focus on basketball. But sadly, for whatever reason,
Look like Bricc Baby could be that real OG.
He cannot let the street life go, so right after his senior year at the prep school, he catches his first case. As he's riding around Mississippi in a car with no registration, the troopers get behind him, and because he has an illegal weapon in the car, he decides to take him on a chase. So he bends a few blocks, giving him enough time to roll down the window and throw out the clip and then throw out the weapon. So then after getting rid of it, he rolls his window up and then finding it. At this point, everything he's worked hard for is at jeopardy. He could quickly become a felon. However, because of a technicality in Mississippi law, he gets off with a misdemeanor.
Threw the gun, so they found the gun with no clip. That's a misdemeanor. Because it wasn't like...
Well, while this is going on and he's sitting in a jail cell, he does receive some very good news.
And while I'm there, I get an acceptance letter from Clark Atlanta University.
So now he has the amazing opportunity to play on Clark Atlanta's basketball team and to go to school for free. Well, after presenting this to the court, the judge thankfully allows him to get out of jail just 2 days before orientation.
What day do you start orientation? He let me out 2 days before orientation, so I couldn't do no gang banging or nothing.
This was a close call, but thankfully they let him off easy and he's able to now focus on... Well, is he? Oh, hell nah. You'd think that catching that case would scare him straight, like everything I've worked hard for almost was out of my hands. Like now I'm gonna focus on basketball and school and definitely stay out of trouble. But nope, Zaire's entrance to Atlanta would be quite the opposite. As soon as he touches down in the city, he links up with his Rolling 60s cousins who now run with BMF. So while his classmates are sleeping in the dorms and kicking it on campus, he's with Big Meech at the club and sleeping in his mansion as well.
So I'm the youngest little dude. You know what I'm saying? Young in the club. 17, 18. I'm with Meech and them though.
And as soon as he was introduced to their lifestyle, he fell in love with it and was willing to do anything to impress Big Meech, including trapping and moving weight while being a full-time college student. So just like that, an 18-year-old Zaire is risking his freedom once again. And unfortunately, during his second semester, it would all catch up to him. While heading down the interstate with 75 pounds in his car, a Georgia State trooper gets behind him. He throws some of the bags out of the window, but unfortunately they catch up to him before he can get rid of it all. And just like that, Zaire is arrested and is facing a serious Class A felony. While enrolled as a college student, he's now facing up to 8 years in prison. At this moment, everything he's ever worked for is now way out of the window. They caught him red-handed with serious weight, and he's going to be sitting in prison for quite some time. Well, long story short, he pleads guilty to the felony, and now his future is at the hands of a judge. Somehow he gets another lenient judge who sentences him to
4 months in jail, 10 years probation.
Receiving only 4 months for 75 pounds is very strange, especially in the South. On top of this, during this exact time, BMF was taken down and all of them got 15 to 20 years.
With 4 new big arrests, Atlanta police believe they have just about shut down the so-called Black Mafia family. And as our Julia Harding reports, these suspects were hiding out in one of the city's most popular areas.
Anyone tied to BMF typically has an extensive criminal history, so we consider them to be very violent.
Federal agents seized this limo with secret compartments that had almost $1 million hidden inside. An organization that at one time claimed to rule Atlanta. Now agents say that's no longer the case.
So now with all of BMF arrested, Zaire just threw his life away for nothing. You started trapping to impress them, and now you'll probably never see them again. So now that he doesn't have a school to go to or a crew to hang out with, he only has a choice but to return back to Los Angeles. So right after his release from Fulton County Jail, he makes his glorious return to the wicked, overhill Los Angeles streets. It's now the fall of 2006, and Zaire is back to ground one, hanging out with his 60s homies in the hood. He's now just another failed high school athlete who's back in the hood doing absolutely nothing. We all know some of those, don't we? But not only is he doing nothing productive, he's also in the process of risking his life every single day. Why, you might be wondering? Well, because while he was in Atlanta, his little homie Eric Holder was causing havoc in the streets. So upon Zaire's return to LA, he was putting his life in immediate risk. It's an early October afternoon and Zaire and Eric are rolling through the set headed to their local corner store. Zaire has his shirt off and a blick sitting in his lap as they get to the store. So when Eric parks the car, Zaire hops out and puts his blick under his seat. He then reaches for the back door so he can grab his hoodie and put it on. But that's when he's met with a barrage of gunfire. Shots are flying from all the way across the street, but somehow Zaire is hitting his shoulder. It then ricochets and hits him in his neck, which completely shatters his back. So now he's laying on the floor and can't move anything under his waist. Thankfully, that's when Eric runs around to him, picks him up, and ties him down in the front seat. He then runs around to his side of the car, hops in, and speeds away to the hospital.
They ended up taking me. My boy was panicking, driving 100 miles per hour. I'm like, man, slow down, because I didn't have no feeling, so my neck I'm like, bro.
Thankfully, he ends up surviving after making it to the hospital, but that's when the doctors give him devastating news.
Like, I was in the bed, like when I first got shot, and he was rubbing the bottom of my feet. So what happened, my nerves were shattered. I had fractured my neck. I was telling him, like, I could feel you rubbing my foot. He like, no, you can't. You're paralyzed. You'll be, he was like a Middle Eastern dude. You'll be paralyzed forever. You'll never.
Hey, that's crazy. You walking right now.
Walk again. I'm like, bro,
man, if you watching right now, I appreciate you. Hit the like and subscribe. That should help out the channel.
So for 6 months, he lays in a hospital bed thinking that he'll be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. A whole lot of time to lay there and think about all of his wasted potential. So now he's pissed off at his rivals and he tells Eric to go put in work. So from what we know, Eric Holder immediately hit the streets and started knocking down rivals. So not only did he save his life, but he also allegedly eliminated those who did this to his friend. Eric's loyalty to Zaire was unparalleled. He was basically forever indebted to his life. Well, after months of being angry in a hospital bed, a miracle comes out of nowhere.
We sitting inside the hospital, we watching TV, and I just move my legs up like, and she like, what the f*** are you doing? I'm like, I was like, oh shit, I was trying to get comfortable. My legs just moved. She like, what the fuck? Like, oh, she ran and got the nurse. Went to rehab, physical therapy after that for like 4 months.
Somehow, after 6 months, he's able to fully recover and get back on his feet. And after his full recovery, he would smartly get out of the LA streets and head back to Atlanta.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Now, you may be thinking that this was his wake-up.
So Bricc ain't even from LA, is what? They saying he from Atlanta? Maybe that's why he got ties to Durk.
Call to get out of the streets, but this wasn't the case.
And maybe that's why he hates Rondo.
At all. Instead, he heads back to Atlanta to become the king of the streets, the powerful leader of the Georgia Rolling 60s. At this time, and really still to this day, the streets in the South had absolutely zero structure. Nobody listened or followed orders from anyone, and it was pretty much every man for himself. No certified OGs, DPs, put-ons, none of that. So essentially what Zaire was trying to do was bring the Los Angeles way to Georgia, where he could have people under him and serving anything he wanted. So in order to do this, he hit the streets hard and recruited new members, guys who were under him and who would do anything he said. And in the process, believe it or not, they took over some serious hoods, and this is how Zaire truly made his name in Atlanta. From the notorious Four Seasons apartments, the West End, and a Southside hood known as Shady Park. While in the process of expanding the set, Zaire unfortunately brought some havoc to the streets. In typical LA fashion, he began robbing and extorting rappers, a trend that Atlanta had never seen before.
No, that's somebody I robbed that was Gucci best friend.
This is how he becomes known for robbing in Atlanta, somebody that you'd rather have on your side than against you. So he's basically extorting people for friendships, but on the flip side, he's also pretty intelligent. After befriending a local rolling 60 by the name of Pee Wee Longway, he ends up running his bag up like never before. If you're unfamiliar, Pee Wee was a very well-known hustler in the streets of Atlanta, known for running up millions. And because of this, he had connections to the up-and-coming and major rappers in Atlanta.
I met everybody.
Hey.
Pee Wee Longway. That's my brother. That's like my brother-in-law.
As they were constantly in studios and surrounded by rappers, they decided to join together and to start a music label. This would be known as Money, Piles, and Ammo, also known as MPA.
Okay, so you guys started rolling together and you guys start MPA together.
We around it so much. Let's pay for some studio time, shoot a couple videos. Let's just see where this goes.
Unfortunately, they had no idea how to properly run a business, but aside from that, Zaire had a special ear for talent. In fact, he discovered Young Thug in 2008 and actually started managing his career early on. Without having him signed to any sort of paperwork, Zaire had him in the studio and was also introducing him.
The game with what's going on the West Coast too.
Right.
You know, I took him in front of Nip in like 2009 and told him to work with him. And Nip was like iffy. Thug was slime, man. He was real, like, you know what I'm saying? He was out here robbing, doing all, you know, regular hood. So
the point is that he was helping out Atlanta artists and he had a really good ear for talent. So not only does he have a potentially major label at his hands, but he's also doing pretty well financially. In fact, in 2009, he copped a nice condo in Sandy Springs, a fly whip, and you know, he was just doing his thing. Once again, things are truly looking good for him, but sadly, this is when he's met with some terrible luck. October 22nd, 2009. It's a Thursday night in North Atlanta, and Zaire is headed down Interstate 19, headed towards downtown. As he's cruising down, a Georgia State Patrol gets behind him and runs his tags. Unfortunately, he never registered the car, so the officer hits the cherries.
Ah shit, here we go again.
Zaire knows that he's riding dirty as a convicted felon, so he smashes on the pedal. Now he's on a high-speed chase, cutting in and out of traffic in Buckhead, and then skirt, he smashes into a pole. Just like that, the officers are able to pull him out of the car and they find weapons inside. This time, it's no joke, as he's facing 4 separate felonies. So already being a convicted felon, he's looking at up to 12 years in prison. But somehow, once again, Zaire is able to completely avoid prison and only get a few months in jail. A convicted felon and documented Rolling 60s Crip only gets a few months in jail for 4 separate felonies. That makes no sense in my mind. Well, once again he gets off easy and he's right back on the streets in early 2010. But not for long. On July 28, 2010, he would have another high-speed chase while on probation. And yet again, he's caught with a weapon and facing 10 years in prison. But mysteriously, the judge lets him off easy and he only does 18 months. Now before you call him a snitch or an informant, do understand that this is Fulton County, which is a complete joke. Well, regardless, it's now 2012 and the MPA boss returns to the streets. While he was away, Pee Wee Longway was able to discover young rappers Lil Durk, Rich Homie Quan, and a group called the Migos.
Rich Homie Quan before he came out. I'm hearing 21 Savage before he came out.
So as soon as Zaire got out of prison, he was connected with them and actually started helping their careers. Not only did he pay for their studio time and connect them with rappers, but he also provided them with protection. But most importantly, the biggest thing he provided was protection whenever the rappers went to LA. In fact, he even brought Future to LA for the very first time.
You know what I'm saying? I've been that person, like bringing them out here. Like I had Future, I turned LA on the Future. I was listening to Dirty Sprite 1. You know, I brought them out here to do a song with Nip.
Essentially, he was every rapper's connection whenever they'd go to LA. He was the first and only call. Remember this, because it will be very important. Well, as we know, everyone around him and Pee Wee was getting rich and famous during this period. And after a while, they got kind of tired of being the guys in the background, and they wanted to try rapping for themselves. So Zaire would become MPA Shitro or MPA Bricc Baby, and Pee Wee was still Pee Wee Longway. Early on, things were looking bright for the duo, as they had the help of Durk, Future, Young Thug, Gucci Mane, and more. Basically, because of everything they had done for them, if they ever needed a feature, it was done right away. But then, unfortunately, as things are going up for Bricc Baby, he catches another felon in possession charge in Los Angeles. And this time he's sentenced to 3 years in prison. As he's sitting in a lonely prison cell, Lil Durk blows up, Rich Homie Quan blows up, Pee Wee Longway blows up, well, kind of, but you get the point. Oh, and don't forget that the Migos get a feature with Drake, and they're out of here as well. So literally everyone who was with him in Atlanta completely blow up and get nationally famous. All while Zaire Bricc Baby is sitting in a California prison with no fame or nothing. Damn, that would shatter any man's ego. Don't act like it wouldn't. But on the flip side, because they're all rich and famous now,
you're not a child, you're a man. So stop wearing so many layers to go outside and get the Bearskin Tactical Hoodie 4.0. the 10-pocket tactical micro-fleece hoodie that blocks wind, repels rain, and regulates heat for incredible comfort, wherever you are.
Now he assumes that once he gets out, they'll definitely put him on. So 3 long years go by, and Bricc Baby is finally released. It's 2015, and Bricc Baby is finally home, expecting a warm welcome. But as soon as he touches down, a harsh reality kicks in. These guys are not your real friends. Aside from Thug, Pee Wee, and Durk, his friends were not there to help him out and pretty much wanted nothing to do with him.
You told me earlier that you've been cut off. People cut you off or something of that sort.
My industry friends that I thought was my friends now. Free YSL, Gunna, Slime. Y'all did, you know what I'm saying? You already know. We ain't got to talk long way. Dirk.
After everything he did for some of his friends in the industry, he really took it hard.
We was broke, we could go through DMs, or when you was up and coming, we could do that. I just feel like they wanted to be around me when they was broke because they didn't have nothing. So now you a millionaire now, you don't want that type of pressure around. But you think I'm going to turn that energy on you? You my boy. I wouldn't give a fuck if you had $1 or $1 billion. I'm going to treat you the same way.
Bricc Baby was now a peon or an afterthought to many people he helped out, and this truly hurt his ego. Now, instead of being the guy who helps out rappers and protects them, he reverts to being the guy who wants to rob them. Don't come to LA. Unless your name is Durk, Thug, or Pee Wee, you better tuck your tail. So as the streets tell it, Bricc Baby becomes the biggest chain collector in LA. Basically, he had his young Rolling 60s members doing serious homework in the streets. This included having them sit at the airport for rappers to come to town and then following their cars back to their hotel. Then they'd relay all of this information back to Bricc and he'd do with it what he pleased. So basically, without them knowing, rappers were being tracked by Bricc Baby the second they stepped foot in LA. Then he and the Rolling 60s would wait for the perfect opportunity to strike, and they'd get up on him. Give me everything you got. So just like that, he went from being known as the helpful guy in the industry to the boogeyman. And because of this reputation, he would be featured on YG's notorious song, Don't Come to LA. Don't come to LA, rob fools for their jewelry. Bro, LA is so corny, bro. But anyways, as the YG feature would help his recognition, he was still hurting financially. How I know this? Well, he was now 29 years old and still taking penitentiary chances. And that takes us to September 21st, 2017. It's an early Thursday afternoon on the west side of LA, and Bricc and 2 Rolling 60s members are masking up for a lick. In particular, they aim to hit a high-end jewelry store in the wealthy Marina del Rey. So at 1 p.m., they arrive in front of the store in a gray Range Rover SUV. Then they quickly hop out of the car and run inside the store with bags. Once they're able to secure a few expensive items, they run out of the store and hop back in the Range Rover. Bricc then quickly speeds away, not realizing that LAPD are already behind him. After bending a few blocks, he hears the sirens and knows they're in trouble. So he instantly punches the gas and busts a left down a residential road. This is when he finally realizes that it's a dead-end street. So now he has no choice but to stop the car and run inside a nearby apartment. While he barricades himself in the lobby, police completely surround the area. And from here, a 6-hour standoff begins. Bricc Baby in the 60s versus LAPD. Finally, at 7:30 p.m., Bricc Baby surrenders.
Misunderstanding tonight, or was it justified? A local rapper arrested after a tense standoff with officers in Marina del Rey, but his family says police got the wrong guy. NBC4's Beverly White just spoke with his family and police. Beverly.
That's right, Chuck. LAPD says it started with a 20-minute pursuit this afternoon of a man traveling in a...
Yo, Bricc Baby's really that guy. I mean...
...over Range Rover, and it ended when he ducked into this apartment building in the 13,900 block of Panay Way. That music video from YouTube is of local rap artist Bricc Baby, the 29-year-old now in LAPD custody after a standoff in Marina del Rey, identified by his mother, who declined to give her name.
The already 3-time felon is facing 2 more of them things. Because of his history and the severity of the charges, he's facing up to 15 years in prison. Definitely nothing to scoff at. Of course, his family doesn't want to see him go away for a long time, and because of this, they go on the news and blame everything on his co-defendant. His mom goes on the news and says, "My son didn't rob anyone, in fact, he doesn't even own a gun." And get ready for this one. His friend is actually the one who robbed the store, and Bricc only drove him away because of adrenaline. So she evidently threw his co-defendant under the bus. And I don't know, is this snitching? It's his mom, but yeah, it's snitching, right? Well, long story short, Bricc is let off easy again as he's sentenced to 4 years in prison. And even though this isn't that much time, with 4 felonies on his record, what is he going to do for the rest of his life? Obviously, this is a harsh reality for a guy in his 30s, but sadly, during his prison stay, things get even worse.
The music world is mourning Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle, who was killed in a shooting in Los Angeles. Hussle was shot multiple times yesterday in a parking lot outside his clothing store.
What he meant to the community, if you want to look around right now, every single person that's out here spending their time here, they're here because he spoke to them in some way. He inspired them in some way. They related to him in some way.
He meant a lot. He meant everything to the community. You know, he was an entrepreneur. He was employing people. He loved his community. He was
Hey, shout out Nipsey Hussle.
encouraging them and empowering them to be more, to do more with their lives. So that's why we're hurt today.
Hey, Ab-Soul got a record called The Righteous Man. He just put a video out for it off the new album. And the song is all about Nip. Go check it out. It's called Righteous Man by Ab-Soul. The video's out.
The city of LA, and more specifically the Rolling 60s, lost a legend, and unfortunately, Bricc Baby would learn from a prison cell.
Oh no, I'm playing poker in the day room. So I'm playing poker, and a dude from Blackstone come over from Jungles. He come over like, "Shitty blood, like they killed Nip." I'm like, "Stop playing with the set." Immediately, I'm like, "Stop playing, bro." I get on the phone. I'm like, "Hey, what they talking about with Nip?" They like, "Yeah, he just got killed." And I'm like, "Huh? How did somebody come into the parking lot and kill bro? Like, he supposed to be untouchable in this parking lot." You get what I'm saying? Like,
Bricc is completely devastated and confused, and it gets even worse when he finds out who did it. His lil homie Eric Holder, the one who saved his life and put in work when he was paralyzed. And once he heard the story of how it transpired, this is what hurt him the most.
Oh. Yeah, man. If y'all out there, hit that like and subscribe real quick. And we're going to get back to this. Right now.
Basically, he was with his girlfriend and he walked up to Nipsey in front of his store. And when he goes to dap him up, Nipsey refuses to shake his hand and calls him a rat. This is a major violation in the LA street code. You do not call someone a rat without paperwork, and especially not in front of their girl. So Eric, being one of the only actual steppers from the Rolling 60s, he feels completely played and wants to do something to Nipsey. So long story short, he goes to his car, grabs his blick, and walks back to the block. Then in front of an entire crowd of Rolling 60s members, he walks right up to Nipsey and lets him have it. After emptying his clip, he simply walks away as Nipsey's friends are frozen in shock. And because of how quickly and emotionally this happened, Bricc realizes that if he was there, he could have calmed down Eric and made everything okay.
Now, I get wind of this cuz, I'm like, oh, cuz. I'm like, man, how one of my close friends killed my other close friend while I was in jail. And so you always think like, damn, if I was on the streets, could I have stopped it? I probably could have took him to go smoke and slide. And we could have went somewhere that would never happen.
How Eric Holder was able to do this in front of all those people is beyond me, but it is California at the end of the day. And on top of this, instead of going by their own code and holding court in the streets, they decided to testify against him in court.
What?
What I've now learned doing this for a few years is that all of these LA street codes that they all say they abide by are pretty much never enforced. Or at least they pick and choose who they want to enforce them on, and on top of this, they're always contradicting themselves. But either way, we move on to another rapper loss that involves the Rolling 60s, and that takes us right back to Atlanta, Georgia. As we all know, in the summer of 2020, Chicago rapper King Von would start an internet beef with Baton Rouge's NBA YoungBoy. I guess it started Well, because of Youngboy's close friendship with Rolling 60s rapper Quando Rondo, he was implicated in the beef as well. So for months, Vaughn would instigate the beef and they would go back and forth online. Then eventually, Vaughn would take the internet beef to the streets. On the night of November 6, 2020, Quando Rondo and his friend Lil Tim would be at a lounge in Atlanta. Vaughn, who now happened to be living in Atlanta as well, would get word of this and he would pull up to the lounge.
Hey, real quick, man, if you want your Cash App up at the top, just you gotta match that top donation or hit it above $23. We'll put your Cash App up there and we'll shout you out every 10 minutes. Hit me up.
So while Lil Tim is sitting in the Escalade and Quando Rondo is standing outside, King Von would pull up on him and start whooping his ass. As soon as Tim sees what's going on and Quando's on the ground surrounded by the Chicago goons, he lets off.
Atlanta police say 2 people are dead after an officer-involved shooting here on Trinity Avenue in downtown. As dawn turned to daylight, you could make out dozens of evidence markers. GBI crime scene investigators combing the scene.
It hurt us. It hurt us a lot. I cried. Some of my friends cried. He had a big influence on us. A really big influence.
Obviously, this was a monumental moment in rap history as one artist lost his life to another. And unfortunately, everyone in the industry and the streets started picking sides. You're either on Vaughn and Lil Durk's side, or you're on Quando and Youngboy's side. There's no in-between. Well, despite the fact that Vaughn initiated all of this, and Quando's side arguably did nothing wrong, everyone was choosing Durk's side. This was so big that even Spotify and Apple Music are accused of taking Durk's side and blackballing Quando and Youngboy.
He literally told me, he said, Apple blackballing Quando. He said, I talked to the people at Spotify. Because Quando was signed to me. He said, put him on so-and-so because the other guy don't with him and he ain't gonna with us. So basically he was saying that Durk either told Spotify or Apple that, yo, if y'all with that guy, I ain't gonna with y'all. So basically they were picking sides, right?
All the guys who always talk about the street code, and Lil Tim stood up for his friend. What goes against the street code at all? But like I said, with the streets picking and choosing what's okay, because
in favorites, not standing on how the streets normally supposed to treat that. You're supposed to treat that as, it is what it is.
Now, of course, this is all about a year before his release. Regardless, though, upon his release, a lot of people were curious where his loyalties would lie. Are you loyal to your buddy Durk or to the Rolling 60s, specifically the set that you brought to Georgia? Now, according to the LA street codes, you're never supposed to go against your own gang, because at that point, what's the point of even being in it? When you're constantly talking about on 6-0 and on hood and riding and being loyal for the set, there's no way you can cross your own flag. However, when it comes to your millionaire friend, all of that goes out the window. Right after...
Like Quando Rondo.
Because you with Durk so much.
It ain't weird for me.
Yeah.
It ain't weird for me at all. You know what I'm saying? You're not from Rolling 60s.
Right.
You're not from LA Rolling 60s. You're not from Rolling 60s.
Right.
You're not from LA Rolling 60s. You're not from Rolling 60s.
Wait. All those years of putting people on in Georgia and spreading the 60s out there, and you don't even respect them as Rolling 60s? That makes no sense. That is the dumbest reason to say that you're not rocking with Quando, because he's not from LA and he's from Georgia. That makes no sense. So to all the Rolling 60s out there that aren't
like this and get your entire car loan paid off for free. Take Tyler for
Rolling 60s out there that aren't in LA, see this and understand that the guys in LA do not respect you, so just understand that. And that's not to mention that the guys out of state are probably more active, because in LA they're just squabbling and catching fades and hanging out in front of Thinkable, and went against his own flag for his millionaire friend, going against everything he's ever said he stood for. And that just shows you the true character of Bricc Baby.
How we got it, because you got it like how we got it. It's these pretending ass niggas. You don't have a hood that you taking care of. You're not from the hood. 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 You're not from the hood.
So now that we know where Bricc Baby stands, let's focus back on the beef between Lil Durk and Quando. From all accounts, Quando and the Savannah Rolling 60s never wanted beef with Vaughn and really never wanted this to happen at all. And despite the fact that all Lil Tim did was defend his friend, Lil Durk still wants get back for Vaughn. Well, given that Durk lives in Atlanta and Quando and his boys are only a few hours away, you'd think that he'd send a hit to Savannah. But because Quando and his boys would have home field advantage, and it's the South where everyone's packing heat, he knows he can get them gone. This, of course, would be the city of Los Angeles, which for 3 reasons would be the perfect place for him to do it. If Quando and his boys are in, it's pretty much impossible to do so. And the 3rd reason? None other than Bricc Baby. As we know, Bricc Baby is the king of hawking down rappers as soon as they touch down in the city. And not only can he give you Quando's exact location, but he can also supply you with what you need. You know, things. Well, from what the FBI states, Lil Durk waits patiently for Quando and his boys to go to LA. And that day would finally come, nearly 2 years morning like any other, when Lil Durk gets a call from an unknown source informing him of Quando's presence in LA. This is the opportunity he's been waiting for, so he seizes it and he quickly calls an OTF member by the name of Vonnie. OTF Vonnie, whose real name is Kevon Grant, is a certified stepper from Detroit who's known for getting things done. So as soon as Durk gets the information on Quando, he calls up Vonnie and has him fly on his private jet to come. Getting people slumped, he's tasked with handling all the logistics. This includes booking flights, hotel rooms, rental cars, and basically handling everything that needs to be done. So as soon as the meeting wraps up, Vonnie immediately gets to planning. First, he gets in contact with 4 reputed OTF steppers, handpicked by him. These would be DeAndre Wilson, also known as Diddy, Keith Jones, also known as Flocka, David Lindsay, also known as Brown Eyes, and Asa Houston, also known as Boogie. He informs them of the mission at hand and tells them to immediately get ready. Then he makes a massive mistake. Using OTF credit cards, he books them red-eye flights to Los Angeles. Coincidentally, just minutes after doing this, Durk texts him,
"Hey, don't book no flights under my name or anything that has to do with me."
Too late, buddy.
Not only did he already use the OTF's way to Los Angeles. Regardless, this doesn't stop anything, and the 4 OTF hitters head to the airport for the midnight flight. Okay, so now that all the travel is handled, Vonnie hops on a private jet headed to Los Angeles. He touches down in the early morning, and now it's time for him to get everything together. August 19th, 2022, 7 a.m. Vonnie takes an Uber to a luxury car rental and gets a BMW M5 and an Infiniti G37. He then wipes them down individually and takes them to get tinted. While waiting for the cars, he takes an Uber to Big 5 Sporting Goods where he buys 4 ski masks and 4 pairs of gloves. Oh, and not to mention, he again uses the OTF credit card. Well, once he leaves the sporting goods store, there's only 2 things left for him to do. First, he needs some blicks. Secondly, he needs to find out exactly where Quando Rondo is. And here is where 2 new mystery men come into the picture, known to the FBI as Co-Conspirator 2 and Co-Conspirator 4. Well, after the rental cars are ready, Vonnie meets up with Co-Conspirator 2. And when they meet up, number 2 hands him a duffel bag full of so they go their separate ways, and Vonnie now meets up with number 4. Together, they go over strategy, and number 4 tells him to follow him. He'll take him exactly to Quando's location. Ooh-wee, it's really about to happen. And now they go to the hotel to pick up the rest of the hitters. From here, Vonnie and the hitters inside the M5 and Infiniti follow number 4 to Quando's location. Aha, there he is. They spot his black Escalade on Melrose Avenue. Then number 4 messages them and tells them that that is in fact Quando's car. Now he vanishes off in the distance and allows the OTF hitters to do what they do. They're now tracking the black Escalade down Melrose, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. Well, after a few minutes of following, the black Escalade busts a right on Beverly Boulevard and pulls over to get some gas. Oh yeah, now it's the perfect time. They head up an alley next to the gas station, park their cars, and get out on foot. They then run into the gas station and absolutely light up the Escalade. After emptying over 100 shots, they run back to their cars and vanish off in the distance. Thankfully, Quando Rondo was untouched, but sadly, his best friend wasn't.
Right now, the search is on for 3 people who police say shot at a Savannah rapper, killing a member of his entourage. It happened in Los Angeles, and cameras captured the aftermath. Shots fired, a fight taken to the streets, and this chaotic scene the ending of a shooting that started in Los Angeles, California. Sheriff's deputies pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV. Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, a passenger in that car, frantic at the sight. It all started at this mobile gas station at 5:30 Friday evening. It's unclear if those inside shot back.
Touched by anything? Just shots, you know, door.
It ended at Santa Monica Boulevard. Deputies found it peppered with bullet holes and a shattered window. One man inside, a member of Rondo's entourage, had been shot.
And it looks like they probably finished pumping gas, and the suspects approached from the alley, got out of the car, and started shooting at those victims.
Shortly after doing this, the OTF members wiped down the rental cars, put their plates back on, and returned them back to the owners. To a burger restaurant. And there waiting for them is co-conspirator 2, who's there to discuss business and who gets paid what. Then once they come to a fair agreement, co-conspirator 2 takes a private jet to Chicago, and the rest of them head down to San Diego. This is where they wait for a couple of days, and a trustworthy friend of Durk brings them a whole lot of money. Now this begs an important question. Who does Durk trust in California to handle a whole lot of his money? And on top of this, who did he trust to find Quando's location and to supply the weapons? Well, I have somebody in mind, and I definitely think he's either co-conspirator 2 or co-conspirator 4. Given everything we know about Bricc Baby's history in the streets, his dislike for Quando Rondo, and his relationship with Durk, it would only make sense. But not only does it have something to do with this.
Oh, real quick, man, we got a new top donation. Let's make this bigger. 3. Yup, shout out 879. Shout out Fred. Looks like Fred 0879 on Cash App. We appreciate your donation. That'll help pay the bills, and then we keep it going. So yeah, we got your name up here. Let's get back into this.
So now let's get into the reasons why Bricc Baby was certainly involved.
Ooh, here we go.
Reason number 1. Directly after losing his friend, Quando Rondo blamed...
Oh, man, this is really interesting. I didn't think Bricc Baby had it in him. They're saying he lined up Quando, so we don't know. That's interesting. But all this is alleged, right? And if you guys do want your name up there, you just hit the top donation, 432 Jasper. And honestly, I'll do a second top donation. So just anybody to donate after Freddie. You don't have to donate the 23. You can donate whatever you like, $1, whatever. I'll still throw your name up there underneath the top donation. And yeah, we'll keep it going.
Story. Basically what he's saying is that he's done with the Rolling 60s, he's putting down his flag because of disloyalty. Now ask yourself, why after this incident would he be upset with his own gang? So much so that he's going to put his flag down because of disloyalty. Obviously, he knew something the world didn't, that the Rolling 60s had something to do with the death of Lul Pab. And as we know from the indictment, somebody from LA gave up his address, so who else could it possibly be? Who else in Los Angeles would know Quando's exact location other than his own gang who he's supposed to tap in with? And on top of this, which Rolling 60 would be connected to Durk? Obviously Bricc Baby. Mouth. And now we're at reason number 2. Bricc Baby hints at it and admits that he was involved. During the period after the incident, nobody was thinking that Lil Durk was involved because it happened.
Wait, this motherfucker admitted it? When was that?
But that's when Bricc Baby goes on No Jumper and reveals to the world that Lul Pab's death was get back for Vaughn.
Oh yeah, slot for Vaughn, right? Yeah. They say you can't say that no more. Why? Oh yeah, because of no. Like
They
who died?
You can't say that.
I'm with him. Just baiting them all right there if we're gonna say.
Together, Lil Durk had something to do with the death of Lul Pab. Who revealed it? Well, Whack 100 thinks it's very odd as well.
Could kind of turn into something. Because if I'm not mistaken, he kind of made a comment like, I guess they can't say
OTF didn't slide. There's no getting out of that.
Listen, if he's just a random person, it's whatever. But he's somebody who's got photos with Durk. He's been pictured with all the OTF guys and stuff. It seems like kind of that was before he even worked for No Jumper. That actually was the interview that made me like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck with you.
Wait, what? That's why you hired him? Because he snitched on Lil Durk? What? But anyways, let's continue.
Because at the time, OTF was never mentioned.
Right.
He's the first one that made any type of anything that OTF was involved by saying, I guess they can't say they didn't slide for bond no more. It's like...
Well, if this doesn't convince you enough, right after this, Bricc Baby would drop a song where he basically incriminates himself. In a song called Not Enough, here's what he says. He was ducking trying to hide, now he in a blunt. We dropped 100 shots, go dig your partner up. Then he says the last one we turned into a
biting my tongue so they call my phone when they see Chopper or see Ted, Breezy, see K, Kim K, with a mask party before they spin. Told them to get their blicks and get the tents darker. Who the fuck is this? Diesel. Sound like Diesel know a little bit something right here in the comments. That should be.
From the indictment of the co-conspirators getting paid? I mean, you know? But of course on the flip side, he could just be lying about the money, right? Except for the fact that after this, he mysteriously starts living in a Calabasas 4-bedroom mansion. So just a year after getting out of prison for robbing a jewelry store, you're living in a Calabasas mansion. How does that make sense? Okay, so let's get back on track. The No Jumper interview, really just a couple weeks later in March, the Fed...
For 4 months.
It was 4 months?
Hell yeah.
The only thing you told me is that they were following you back and forth from your house to here. And that kind of tripped me out. I'm like, wow, so these fools are just like parked outside sometimes and we just don't even know?
And low, like grandma van, like soccer
mansion was raided and they found an AK-47. Now generally this isn't that serious, but given that he's a 4-time felon, this is no joke. In fact, just like Crip...
I gotta go on this one. So he said, go fool his ass. We think we buy some cars, we hop out, scoop his ass, fool his ass. He ain't paying no attention to this car. Because we got Uber tags, goofy ass, I pop X, and dye my dreads, I'm Super Saiyan. Man. Get on. Get on.
Back, he was facing up to 15 years in prison, and even though he seemed to wiggle out of serious consequences, he disappears. And that really makes you wonder, how does a 4-time felon have such a big case dropped, just like that? Well, actually, the first question is, why was he being spied on, and why was he raided in the first place? Does it have anything to do with the murder of Lul Pab, or the fact that he was snitching on himself? Well, Whack 100 seems to think that he snitched to get out of this, and that's why Lil Durk is now indicted.
Bricc got an open case. And everybody's watching, Bricc.
Oh, wow.
Where your court dates? Boom! OTF is hit with an indictment.
And even if Bricc didn't actually...
They saying Bricc snitched on Lil Durk to be free? That's crazy. These motherfuckers, man.
snitch, Whack says that he could be the reason that the feds even look Lil Durk's direction.
Now, you got the people saying, this dude's a known gang member. He ran with these people. Okay, well, let's look over there. Maybe they wasn't even thinking about looking over there. But because they heard him say it, they like what they heard, and the one dude went bad and fed him everything else, so...
Okay, so let's now play devil's advocate, right? Let's assume that Bricc Baby had nothing to do with the death of Lul Pab and that he's not a snitch. And if that's actually the case, please explain these two reactions. This was his live reaction to receiving the news that the 4 OTF members were indicted.
They're good.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
Hang on, wait.
Yeah, that's it.
Wait, was this an attempt? Or an alleged attempt?
He dead. Yeah,
no, Quando.
Yeah, Lul Pab is his man's dead. His man's is dead.
Oh, his boy, but he didn't get hit.
Nah, Quando's fine.
So they got his boy instead.
His boy is dead.
Yeah. But were they alleged to try to get him too?
Yeah, he was there.
Staring at him. Kind of like how when Durk was on Breakfast Club with King Von, he did that cough when Von was talking too much to try to get his attention, you know. It looks like that's somebody to understand that, though. He seemed like he's just... Man, we'll leave it there. But look at their minds, man. It looked like Bricc Baby trying to tell him to shut up. Like, just stop already. Stop on the whole concept. I mean, stop.
Diddy's bodyguard.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, with Biggie's bodyguard.
Good. This is good.
This is exactly
I'm getting
the
a
kind
free
of
lesson here as well.
Yeah. So essentially,
Thank you for that, by the way. Thank
1,000.
you. I appreciate it.
Got you, my buddy. So this dude, Quando Rondo, he's an artist that was affiliated with for that.
100%. Well, I'm about to say, nah, that's crazy. So the feds charged an indictment was unsealed. It said was unsealed Thursday in the U.S. District Court in Los Angeles are combined.
Like, why would you say that? But he seems nervous. And to make matters even worse, he says that giving up Quando's location for Lil Durk is something that he would actually do. Like, why would you say that?
Then there's people like, you lied to us.
Whoa.
Oh, this.
Whoa. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? That's too much information, bro.
My boy, he lost his boy. Who did it could be around. 9 times out of 10, had he asked me, I probably would have been Coke if he even asked anybody, if this is even true. But 9 times out of 10, like I said, can I link a bar?
Sure.
I said if he make the call right now, I dig his up in.
Right. What's wrong? But on a street level as well, especially in LA, openly admitting to backdooring your own gang for your millionaire buddy is crazy. So you guys tell me what you think. Firstly, do you think Bricc was involved in the hit in any way, and was he co-conspirator 2 or co-conspirator 4? And secondly, do you think he's a federal informant that gave up Durk for his own protection? And even if he didn't officially snitch, do you think that his song lyrics and comments on podcasts are the reason that the feds looked into Lil Durk? Well, personally, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that Bricc Baby goes to jail for
The $7 Lux Cravings box.
Oh, yeah, that shit good, man. Yo, hit the like and subscribe. We appreciate you watching, bro. If you want to throw in some money on the Cash App, it's on the screen. Get your name on the screen. Let's get it.
Very unfortunate when we talk about the domino effect of all the lives impacted. And it's just like when we're in the midst of hearing about these stories unfold, when we see the footage come out of King Von's shooting and we wake up to the news, Lil Durk, wow, realize the complexity of it. You realize how many people really, really are affected. You realize how many people really don't want to be involved in this type of stuff, even if they are street niggas. So this new... play too much of it, to be honest. I had to actually write down notes. I got notes in front of me, bullet points of all the little pieces of this interview to recap for y'all. Like, we're not really getting the information that everybody got their popcorn to hear. And then the second reaction is just like, is Akademiks navigating this? Is he asking the right questions? Is he being a good interviewer? But then Rondo, he has a very complex personality. Sometimes he talks like he lacks comprehension, even though he's pretty smart. He's 25 years old, dealing with all of this headache, all this drama, all these losses, people with money on his head, having to look over his shoulder every day. And it's like, nah, shout out to Akademiks for getting this interview, conducting this interview. It just wasn't easy to get all the stuff that I think people want to hear. The first 10 minutes of the interview, they talked about food. Yes, comfortable. So I get it, but dancing around to a degree his relationship with NBA YoungBoy. Now I know why Akademiks brought up NBA YoungBoy. You know, he wants to read into their relationship. He wants to probably then ask questions. You know, do you ride or die for NBA YoungBoy? You know, do you feel like he's on? So he wants to ask him about it. I believe he does, but he danced around it a little bit, saying, for the most part, we're just the same. We have similar upbringings. We come from the same type of circumstances. And that's the nature of me and NBA YoungBoy's relationship. And I'm just like, that's it? Very conservative, didn't open the door, because that question could have led to so much for Akademiks to ask. And he just didn't open the door for it. So I was just like, okay, this isn't Akademiks' fault. Quando Rondo is being a little standoffish here and a little reserved here. After that, they move into if Quando Rondo has a little man complex, right? Now, once again, Akademiks did a good job with his question here. He asked him, he said, do you feel like you have a little man complex? Because certain people on the internet or people would give the feedback that a lot of these situations just doesn't want to piss him off in the middle of an interview. But that was the premise of him asking him about a little man complex.
Right.
Once again, Quando didn't really go for the bait.
Nah, he kind of, he said, yeah, man, 'cause I had to, I was around killers, man. But he really is not. He's kind of tall, so I don't know why Ack looked like a stuffed marshmallow. You feel me? Ack looked like a stuffed a bloated mascot for the SEC or some shit. We'll stop there, though.
That question opens up a can of worms as well. I could just imagine Akademiks taking that and launch padding off of that into shit like, like, do you feel that King Von should have got shot? Do you feel like, that should have just ended in fist fights, between you and King Von? Do you feel like Lil Tim was, all of that stuff as it relates to the shooting, and he danced around it. He said, I have a little man complex because it comes from survival. It comes from being in certain conditions. He started to give an example about being in jail, walking in jail and just being amongst wolves and monsters and having to be a monster as well. So I just happen to be a small guy. So I have a complex about me where it's just, all right, you put me in this room or around these type of people, I'm going to be similar. I'm not going to be the victim. Like, that's the answer to it. So I was just like, again, like, damn. Akademiks is not getting the answers that of course. And he's just not going there. What was the next thing that we went to? This right here, if you watch it one time without giving the kid, and Quando Rondo just starts tripping out. If you don't take that back, what you mean there's some devilish stuff going on? What type of interview is this or whatever? Right there for the second on my first watch, before I skimmed it the second time, I was just like, you to use when you speak. I don't got to explain it to y'all of what playing devil's advocate means. But he heard the word devil and tripped out. And we have seen him recently. Maybe, he has this newfound faith, newfound religion, newfound beliefs, newfound positive energy that he's trying to take on. Once again, he's hurting Akademiks' questions. You know what I'm saying? It's not Akademiks' fault. It's not Akademiks' fault here. Okay, so civilian gang. That's the next one, the next topic that they went into. They joked about being civilians. Quando Rondo cuts in as DJ Akademiks is just saying, like, me, I'm civilian gang. Y'all hear me say that a lot. Civilian, I'm a civilian, right? I ain't no gangster. I ain't here for no street shit. I ain't trying to be running around breaking no laws, law-abiding, tax-paying citizen, right? And he says that. Quando jumps in. He's just like, yeah, me too. Akademiks is like, nah, you're not a citizen just yet. You're not a citizen gang just yet. But it's like little key pieces like this that keep showing me. So when I see his ability to be that evasive, you got to also give credit to somebody being able to steer, being able to interview how much we see the. So I don't know. I thought it was odd once again, but he takes that and he flips that into comparing. Is because what Akademiks was trying to do, he was trying to get back to details of the actual shooting. Like what everybody wants to hear. Years ago or something like that, 2001 review. Would you still ask him about 9/11? Akademiks says, yeah. Right? I think we all would, right? And Quando Rondo, that's not the answer that he was looking for. At what point do people stop asking and stop talking about certain topics? Now, when it comes to Quando Rondo, sorry, it's true, as it relates to the killing and the shooting of King Von, never. They're going to ask you about that or be curious about that or look at you for that story. Things of violence, especially in this country, people are very, very attracted to it. there's been this domino effect of all these things that have happened since then. Quando Rondo's cousin killed, and now Lil Durk in jail behind it. You know, somebody else from there's been all this domino effect of all these people that were hurt, killed, lost their life. FBG Duck, I didn't mention him yet. It's this domino effect of all of this beef, regardless of where you think it starts from. So yes, people are gonna ask Quando Rondo about this or think about this forever. And he tries to make this point of like, at what point do we let this go? At what point do we stop talking about it? If you take an interview, what you think you're being interviewed for? Nobody's calling Quando Rondo to interview him about his upcoming single. On him once again to use was
Yo.
Academics then makes a point of great question, a great response from Academics. I'm very, very glad he said that. I've taken that position forever. It's like when you see these guys sit down in interviews, whether they're with Academics, whether they're with Vlad, whether they're on the Breakfast Club, ask them about controversy that they got going on. Ask them about a charge that they got. Ask them about a shooting. Ask them about beef. Ask them about a problem. And what do they always do in interviews? I don't know, whatever. You know, or King Von will be up there with Lil Durk, and he'll start talking about, I beat 2 attempts and all of this type of stuff. And Lil Durk will call up, don't talk about that. Chill out. And then they'll leave there and they'll go to the studio and they'll rap that times 10. Nigga. It make no fucking sense. And Academics tried to put that in front of Quando. He didn't really have a good response for that either. I'm just trying to recap this interview for y'all because once again, it's like pulling teeth. And it's just not what y'all really click play for in that interview. I'm telling y'all right now. After that, almost the whole middle part of the interview is just a long dialogue that Quando is given about morals. You know, DJ Academics asks him, like, you know, what's up with your morals? Like, what do you consider your morals to be? And he says things like, my morals are based on providing for my family, surviving, being myself, following my faith. You know, and that just comes about because it's just general rant that he's given. He admits he's a little drunk. They had a shot or two. That's something that interviewers need to be careful with. I know Drink Champs does it, and it's kind of like the focal point of it. Get these guys drunk and have a Lamar Odom relapse or some shit. Like, I get it, and it's very entertaining for that reason. People get drunk and they start talking all wild types of shit. But in this particular case, you know, Quando admits to it, like, damn, I had a shot or two or whatever. And he just goes on this long, saving it towards the end. Let me just finish this recap. Years old, DJ Academics points out to him, like, man, you know, you have the story of a 45-year-old. You know, all the stuff that you've experienced and been through. You know, and not only that, he's still going through stuff. He's facing sentencing coming up for a federal case, right? And that's pretty much the closeout of where Academics goes to with him. Like, you know, how do you feel that you got this sentencing coming up, possible jail time? And Quando Rondo admits himself. He's like, you know, the feds had this, 98% conviction rate. It's very, very hard. God will not put anything through this. Very respected, you know, response to that. So he seems very prepared. He's not lying to himself, or I should say he's not getting, for all we know, the lawyers probably already gave him a heads up, like, all right, this is what we might walk in there and encounter. So he seems like he's mentally prepped for going to sentencing and getting some time, right? But all in all, I'm going to tell you the gist of what I got from this interview, even though it wasn't easy to get him to talk about anything that direct when it comes to Lil Durk and King Von. He really does want to get away from this shit. When people heard about the dropping of his flag, I think that was everybody's immediate response because his cousin got killed, right, in Cali, which is what Lil Durk is in jail for right now. That was everybody's immediate response. Like, oh, no. You can't just have the heat turn up and now you want to run. You can't have the heat turn up and now you want to get up out of here. Now you want to drop your flag. Now you go to this club. He said, you can't call me now when the heat is up. You know, and him and Quando Rondo has them back and forth, and then eventually they got together, and I guess they squashed their little back and forth. And it's a free man. NBA Youngboy's in jail, but, you know, you expect him to come home sooner or later. You don't expect that to be I forget if he was sentenced yet, but that's not a super long-term situation, right? Quando Rondo just comes off like he just wants all this to be over and behind him. He wants people to stop talking about it. He wants to move on. He doesn't want the beef. He doesn't want the drama. You almost sympathize with him a little bit when you watch this interview. Like, damn, it is the looking over your shoulder for the rest. When you guys really catch me talking about all these details, it should be in a movie. And he mentions 50 Cent as like almost like a reach out, like, yo, 50, holla at me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he thinks he's saving all this for a movie or some wild script. I mean, it probably could be something that people would pick up, you know. But all in all, I just get the gist that aside from him wanting to wait until it's his time to, I guess, capitalize on it, he still wants out. He's still going to be problems. It's always going to be something that you got to think about or be conscious of. I don't know, man. Seeing him drop his flag, I want y'all feedback on that. Do y'all feel like, yo, it's too late? It is what it is. Like, ain't no you won out and you trying to get away from this now. You go ahead and live with this for the rest of your life? Or do y'all feel like, damn, like all this loss, all this domino effect, all these people on both sides that have been incarcerated or killed, you know, he might be one of the survivors. It's possible. It's possible when you look at King Von, Lil Durk, FBG Duck, the old block 6, the OTF members that's locked up with Durk and every all sense, and we'll see how much time you get. But like, let's say, no, because is he the root of this beef? King Von is, and you turned up Lil Durk, or even the night in question, you're the one that got out that truck to nobody's knowledge for the most point and just started throwing blows at Quando Rondo, right? And it's like, it's also the reminder, like, people, we got to keep our hands to ourselves, because the domino effects of some of this shit can be great and can be massive, whether it happens there or it happens later. We must keep our hands to ourselves. You know, this torturous demon in hip hop. Like, Quando Rondo isn't the root of all of this, but he's not an angel and he's not innocent of it. Like, he perpetuated some of this stuff. He did his songs. He chose his sides. He still was a gang member. Like, he still was involved in shit. But y'all drop a comment. Do y'all think that, you know, Quando Rondo is naive for taking the position of, man, I just want this to be over and behind me and people to leave it in the past, you know, like, let it go? Or do you feel like, nah, after everything that's happened, especially with him not being the root of it, he kind of deserves that? Like, enough has happened. Let the people that have made it out of this, let them move on with their lives. Drop a comment. Curious to see what y'all say about that. But that's pretty much the recap of this interview.
But we're going to keep going right here.
Popeye's wings are the official wing of...
One of the recent Durk lives that I did, I brought up Drake's lawyer up here, and we watched his breakdown of some of the charges for Durk and some of the vagueness in his complaint from his original arrest. You know, when they took him into custody before he left to Italy, trying to fly out private from
one real flight. But he paid for two or three extras.
And there was a lot of hope in that video. I'm keeping it 1,000, man. I'm going to have to go the opposite direction now, seeing this new federal indictment officially come down. A superseding official federal indictment that has gone. Initially arrested was not. They knew he was about to flee the country. Well, they in Switzerland, and to approve virtually for already extradited from Miami to California, where he's facing these charges, the federal indictment. But that's the reason why they initially grabbed him. You know, we already knew about the prior 5 folks from OTF that was grabbed as well. They're all named and the indictment papers have been released. So now the superseding indictment comes out and they got Durk, and they have Durk with the additional charges. We already knew that he was pretty much being labeled as co-conspirator 1 in the paperwork as the leader. But now to see it officially unfold, to see these additional charges, I asked the question prior. I wonder if they're saying Durk was in LA at the time of Quando Rondo's cousin's shooting at that gas station in Beverly Hills. I wonder, when he flew private, was any of these guys that was grabbed from OTF, like, are they going to be named as being among Durk or with Durk on that flight? That's revealed now too. They have the answer to that now too. Y'all see the thumbnail. So you got the 3 shooters. I believe the other 2 people that are indicted of the 5 outside of Durk were in the second car that was helping to track and stalk Quando's truck as it was moving through Beverly Hills. And then the 6th person, of course, Lil Durk. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. And bear with me as we get past this this write-up here. This is a .gov website, so you already know what it is when it comes from that. And later on, I'm probably going to get more into actually pulling up the real indictment paperwork, the long, 10, 15 plus pages for certain situations here. I try to keep it smaller right now, but we're going to rock going forward. I'm going to start getting my hands on the actual paperwork for y'all. But after we talk about this write-up right here, I want to talk about the lyrics that they put into the indictment. That's a topic that proceeding in points right there. I mean, once again, people, we say it could take a day, it could take a week, it could take a month, it could take a year, it can take multiple years in this case. If they on you, they on you, and y'all are running around still recording these songs and talking trash and putting your flash duck sneakers on and self-snitching on yourselves and doing interviews and sending subliminals for a couple months and years thinking that you got away with it. No, it's all right there. They're just piecing it together, and when it's time, they coming. And the second piece that we're going to keep reminding people of, the location matters, man. You got high commercial areas, you got high tax-paying areas, you got high tourist areas near the Beverly Center Mall. They're not going to let that one go. They're just not. All right, a Grammy Award-winning Chicago rapper has been charged in the superseding federal grand jury indictment alleging he conspired with others to murder a rival rapper, resulting in the shooting death of rival's relative that occurred at a gas station near Beverly Center Shopping Mall in Los Angeles on August 2022, the Justice Department announced today. So we know that part. Dirks Bank and Mustafa Abdul Malak of Chicago is charged with 1 count of conspiracy, 1 count of use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire, resulting in death, and 1 count of using, carrying, and discharging death. Woo! That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, when we hear machine gun, you know, it's all through Chicago rap, Dirks raps as well. We automatically assume a switch. It's charge, federal charge within itself. They've been cracking down on switches for years. They will give you real time, federal time for switches. We've seen cases where people have posted switches on their Instagram, not involved in shootings, not involved in robberies or anything like that, or murders, but simply posting their Glock switchies on Instagram, and the Fed Dirk's Muslim name. So all of that was Dirk, because the 5 folks that are actually named here, we see them: Kayvon, DeAndre, Keith, David, in the indictment. But yeah, machine gun, the switch. Now, he obviously wasn't one of the 3 shooters, right? They're charging him with orchestrating this. So is this related to saying that while he was on that plane, they brought the guns from Chicago? I mean, when you fly private, people are flying with drugs, they flying with guns, they flying with all types of stuff, right? Because it's not flying commercial. You're not going through the screw. I'm curious there. But the count use of interstate facilities, to me, that's flying in and out of your private airports. You're crossing state lines. And once again, that type of stuff makes it federal as well. Look at Diddy. When they're charging him with sex trafficking, there's just certain things that you do within state that's going to keep it a state crime, a state charge. You start crossing state lines, it becomes federal. So that using of interstate facilities to commit murder, interstate facilities, that's got to be these private jets. Y'all want to fly out of Teterboro and all that and think like, all right, I'm going to take a couple pounds of weed with me. And even some of y'all be thinking y'all just going to party with it. They're going to look at the amount of drugs that's on the table and say, listen, how are you going to prove to me?
Represents many of Epstein's victims, spoke out saying that while the list is interesting, he'd like to know how often Epstein visited Trump's mansion, Mar-a-Lago.
So that was Trump saying that he's going to reveal that list. He says that the only thing that ever holds revealing these lists back is the government says when they don't want to tell us something. It's a threat to public safety. But he's gonna even tell the president, like, you can't go